I think we should.
Yes.
Whoever's in a relationship should kick us off.
So
Okay.
that's
I mean,
you,
you guys.
Alex. Isn't that you?
No, no, that is JJ
I mean, this
Universe.
this just goes back to like early episodes where you're just like, Jordan, well, you guys do it, and then we're gonna be
Yes.
jesters and not talk about anything and just do stupid shit.
At least I
right.
wore a nice shirt. I mean, I
You
got
look great.
right.
Yeah.
one shirt on. Summer's here.
Exactly
You know what
right.
they say? You know what Bart Simpson says about Hawaiian t-shirts, though, right?
What does Bart say about Hawaiian t-shirts?
Or I think it's Homer, that it's they're either big fat party animals or they're gay.
Well, I am never looked better, so
You're a
Well,
big
I'll
party
go-
animal for sure.
yeah.
Um,
How are we doing? I mean, we're just jumping in hot. Alex, I like your background. You have like a wispy.
Yeah, it's wispy.
Is it smoke? Are those smoke signals?
So for those listening to the audio experience of this podcast, what Rob's referring to is I'm in a hotel and it looks like there's a wall art of a wispy. It looks like someone's blowing smoke into my ear.
Smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
I'm in Florida. I'm in Tampa Bay.
Nice.
Ooh,
It's like
Tampa.
multiple like photos combined too. So this is like an intentional piece that's put together.
Yeah, they had to match up the smoke.
Are you in a king or a double queen?
You know what?
kind
It's a
of room
dub.
you in?
It's a dub queue, and
A
I'll
dub
tell you
queue?
this hot take for all those listeners. I actually love a good. If I'm solo, I love a dub queue because
Yeah.
it's a double queen because it tends to be more room, and I like that I can either sleep in the bed closer to the window if that's
Mhm.
quieter, or
Uh-huh.
closer to the hall if that's quieter. Sometimes I change up the bed.
You do like so if you stay for let's say 2 nights or 3 nights, you might change beds.
Last night, let's just hop into this. Last night I went to bed and I'd never do this. I never do this, but some reason I went to bed and I hugged the pillow. I put it vertically and hugged it, not for posture, but for like connection. And I was so tired last night going to bed, but I remember doing it and being like, this is something. Like I was, like this isn't a person. This is a pillow.
We've talked about my pillow question.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't, but I know some people do it for like posture. I mean, it very much felt like I was hugging it to be hugged.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did
That
you
felt nice.
imagine it being anybody specific or was
Not
it
at all,
just
man.
like
I imagined
just
it being
want
a
to be-
pillow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I definitely do that for a while. I remember my mom. I was going through my breakup and she goes, "Why?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm so sad." And she's just like, "Why don't you just like sleep with more pillows and like hug more pillows?" I'm like, "Mom, that's not gonna help me. I'm sad." Like she's like, "Just hold the pillow." And I was like, "Okay."
It's
But
so
no,
funny.
I occasionally do that. I sleep sometimes with a pillow between my legs.
Mhm.
It feels good on the back.
This
Mhm.
is you're making me think of this. I was listening to this comic the other day and he was talking about his mom and like it's just for Rob and I kind of talked about this the other day. It's so funny. Like this comedian was going off about like how the world's like this and all these issues and he's depressed and all this. And his mom listened to him. At the end, she goes, "Are you drinking enough water?" And it's just like funny because it's kind of true. Like a good night's sleep, getting water, walking outside and getting some sun.
Totally.
Like obviously there's problems bigger than that, but I bet like 80% is solved with that.
I had a day yesterday where Leia was homesick from school, and we literally all day watched cartoons on the sofa, and I was going nuts. And I literally had to like step outside and just be like, okay, like just take a deep breath, feel the fresh air. But yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely been days in the past where I'm just like starting to get a headache, everything hurts, and is like, I haven't had a drink of water today. Like it's just
Yeah.
like crushing coffee and like energy drinks or something like, or not even consuming that much liquid even to begin with, where it's like, huh. And then you just drink like 5 glasses of water and you're like, oh, okay.
oh,
Yeah.
it was just that. Yeah. I have a big announcement. I'm really
Ooh.
excited to share this with you guys.
Pew, pew, pew.
2 of my best friends, and then obviously the still single audience. This is a huge announcement. So I purchased a laser hair removal package today for the shoulders and back.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 sessions.
Wow.
Congrats.
I'm pot committed. I'm gonna
Did
be
was the
yeah.
package 2 or 3, and then you went for the consultation, and they're like, it's gonna be 8 sessions for
It's
you.
gonna take way more than 3, Rob. We're they're sifting through the hair. Just their clipboard gets lost in my shoulder hair.
We have
We're
to
gonna need that
build a
clipboard
bigger
back.
laser.
Is,
Yeah.
is this a permanence thing? Like after 8 sessions, you go then like once a year or something after
Yeah, then
that?
they're like, there's a maintenance package that we might need to
Okay.
put you on.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll do maintenance. But yeah, she's like, we could do the 1 session or we could do 8. And I was like, just let's go. Because I did it. I
Yeah.
remember I did it earlier and then it all grew back.
Right.
And so I got my haircut this morning. My hairstylist, Anthony, who's just a delightful gay dude. He goes, yeah, man, you got to do more than just one. He's like, oh, I'm healthy now. I ate one salad. He's like, I went to
Mhm.
the gym one time. I'm fit. I have abs. It's like you gotta be consistent. So I'm in. Thanks, Anthony.
Can we get a this is kind of putting you on the spot. Can we get a before and after?
You can. So the truth is there's more to this announcement. So this morning I asked Leia to start shaving my shoulders
Oh,
because
dude,
you
those are
have to go in
bare.
shaved. Yeah.
Mm.
Those are
So she
bare.
started shaving the shoulder.
How
Um,
soon are you doing this?
oh, I'm going today.
Oh, wow. They were like, we
Yeah.
need you in yesterday.
We did the FaceTime consultation and they're like, dude, you're a danger to society with those
Did our,
shoulders.
did our Instagram ads not hit you a month ago?
Something I am worried about though is if I'm going to go today and then I'm going to Stagecoach Friday, I'm going to be in the sun, but I really wanted smooth shoulders for the weekend, right? Like
Sure.
I can't
Yeah.
go hairy shoulder bob, you know, at Stagecoach. Because I honestly think I might pop my shirt off in public.
I
I think
love
I'm
this.
there.
Hell
Dude, you're
yeah.
fit, dude. You're fit. I think it'd be a
You're gonna be in
good
the
thing.
desert, like
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
let it
I love
ride.
this for you. Did you
Yeah.
ask them about sun? And it seems like something to ask.
See, oh, so that's my worry. My worry is that they're going to be like, so you cannot be in the sun for 72 hours. And I'm like, I'm literally going to the desert today.
Yeah.
But I'll just put sunscreen on and hopefully not break out.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
How
So
how is
that
that experience with Leia? Like, is she having fun doing that?
so much fun.
Okay.
It started. So I got a haircut this morning. Then it started. I looked at Leia and I'm just like, hey, should I shave my beard? She's like, don't shave it, but just trim it, Dada. She's like, just trim it. She's like, and then I like did the mustache part and she was like, oh, that's the length. That's the length. Do that for everything. And it's just great having like a little sidekick because,
Yeah, man.
she's just great. She's really great.
That's very
Should
cool.
why don't we talk about like dating um people with kids? Can we do that? Is that fair? Is that fair game?
I mean,
Sure.
you're the one with kids.
Yeah.
I'm with kid.
You're with child.
I'm with I'm with child. Well, I was just thinking about it because like I've obviously dated some single moms and I'm a single dad and um have you dated any single moms?
hmm Yeah, a couple.
How many kids do they have?
Um, it was like one kid each, and then uh, yeah, it was one kid for each of them. Yeah.
And what about you, Alex?
I have before, and one child that was hers. Yeah. Have you, Rob?
I have. I dated a mom who had 2 kids and then one mom who had 1 kid. Um and it was great. I will say like so I grew up in a blended family and my mom was a single mom and then she married my stepdad who already had 5 kids.
Mm,
And I've always thought like for 10-year-old Robbie going from an only child to then having 5 stepbrothers and sisters was a huge transition. So in my journey with Leia, there's part of me that's like, I'm totally open to meeting somebody who has children, but there is a little resistance there where I go, oh, maybe it would just be better if it was just like Leia and I meeting, our queen and then it's just the three of us, and we like create a new family together.
You ever watch Step by Step growing up?
No.
Hmm. Yeah, that
You
was with
should, yeah, watch it like a documentary or I never
you've seen it,
I
Alex?
haven't really seen it, but I know it's like a blended family, right?
Yeah, it's with like Suzanne Summers, and she has like three kids, and he has three kids, and they come together, and it's living in this house, and
Is
they're
it
all
like Brady
different
Bunch?
ages, and
Isn't it like Brady Bunch?
pretty much they're a family, right? That
No,
the
Brady Bunch. Here's a story of a lovely lady who had three kids. And da, 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 da.
Keep going. I don't know it.
mm,
She met a lovely man like her father, the
oh
youngest one with curls.
yeah. See, we weren't a big Brady Bunch family
Nor was
growing
I. I
up. Um,
don't think I've ever
It's
seen it.
literally the same thing. It's a guy
Step
with
by
three kids
Step,
and a woman with three daughters, and they
a Brady
scissor.
Bunch.
They don't really make shows like that anymore, do they?
Sure, they do. There's so many family-oriented shows.
Do they?
What are you talking about? Modern Family? Like one of the biggest TV shows
That's
ever?
right. But I guess that ended of like, didn't it end?
I don't know. Did Modern Family end?
There was I
Like,
remember there was one episode, this valet guy, he only had 3 lines, but he stole the freaking show. That's all I can think about when I think about Modern Family. I was the
baby
valet guy.
Jesus. I got a baby Jesus here. Baby Jesus.
How do y'all feel about adoption? Let's hop in there.
Whoa.
I don't think that's Jordan's giving me like it's left field. It's not left field. It's like pseudo left field.
I already know what this episode's called. It's called The Family. And we should
Well,
just touch
wait,
all the topics of
I
can I
love
dating.
it. I love
wait,
it.
hold on. Can I
Faith,
ask
yeah.
why the last episode was called The One?
Yes.
Get into
Okay,
it.
so
Two. Get into
I was
it.
gonna call it The Imperfection. I was gonna call it The Imperfection, but it was called The One because we talked about meeting the one and what that
We
feels
did?
like. Yes, I listened to all the episodes. You do not. I listened to them.
But weren't we how many other episodes have we talked about that? Like I feel like that's the whole concept of the episode is you guys referring to finding the one, that one person. So to emphasize that,
What would you have called it? You wanted to call it the duo? You wanted to call it
something about the two of us, like just it being a two-man pod.
Well, you know what? Next episode you can edit.
Okay, great.
Put
Hey
the
guys, for all the
title in there.
listeners, you ever go to a restaurant, like a Thai restaurant, and they're like, "What do you want the spice level to be on that pad Thai?"
Uh-huh.
And they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at like spice level 3. We're at spice level
Do you
3. We're
think
not
so?
at 5. I think we're at 3. We're at 3.
I think we're at a spice level 2, to be honest. I could get spicier. I got a
Yeah.
fun fucking shirt on. I could get
Yeah.
super
Yeah,
spicy.
let's get real
That's what- we're
spicy,
just
guys.
I'm just chatting with like bringing things up and like I feel like some of these questions are just like
All right.
trying to find the right balance of like how do I actually respond versus like
Sure.
it being publicly responsive and um
Okay, so adoption.
sure if you guys want
Let's
to
just talk. Why can't this is still single? We can talk about anything.
we can talk about any sure. And that's what happens when there's no preparation is that we take this ride of going wherever we're going.
So
Spice
Okay,
level
so-
3.
spice level 3. We're just
We can.
engaged.
All right. I'll field it. I'll field it. Alex.
Yeah, it was your prompt.
Yeah. Everyone loves when you ask a question and then you answer it. I will say that I think it's something that everyone is like, oh, it's so wonderful. Like, of course, we all agree in the generic because how could you not? You're loving for a child that would need a home and you're providing it a home. I think where it gets a little more interesting is when it's like, are you going to adopt a child that is not your blood, bring it into your home? You may or may not end up liking this child because it's a child who's going to have its own personality and its own, and we're all human beings. And of course you're going to love it, but you might not like it. And yes, I'll keep calling it it. I don't know, but I think if I'm speaking very honestly, I think that I definitely want to have my tribe. And I think it would be a stretch and a good stretch of me to be able to, like, to challenge myself of like, could I love a child that is not my own like it was my own and provide it a life?
Hmm.
I think it would be like a push to being a better man than I currently am.
What sparked this thought process for you? Like
A few
why?
different things. I mean, the talking about people with children, because though you're not adopting, but if you were to be with someone who, like Rob, has a daughter, so anyone that is with Rob is not adopting Leia, but they're not adopting Leia.
Right.
It's a
Right.
version of it. Um, Also, there's a guy that I follow, Michael Chandler, who's a UFC fighter and just like a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal human being. And I believe he's a dad to two adopted sons, and just like seeing the love he has for them is so beautiful. And I watch it, I'm literally like, this is a better man than me. And not in a comparison, but in a almost call of, oh, okay, like what an amazing quality to be able to give a life to a child and love it like it's your own when it is not from you. So I don't know. It was just stirring around.
I no, I actually really appreciate the prompt. I think it ties in well with talking about dating single moms and single dads, because the way I see it with Leia and I, well, I should take it back one step. So my dad, my biological father, and my mom divorced when I was 2, and then my mom, when she remarried my stepdad, she had already gotten like full custody of me from my biological father. So then my stepdad actually legally adopted me. And then my mom legally adopted 2 of my stepdad's kids, who are my sisters. And I think in terms of what I would like for Leia and I is that I would like my partner, my future wife, to actually adopt Leia, so that, you
Mm.
know, so that she is like her mom, like not only emotionally but legally is her mom, and can help not only raise her but and nurture her, but like, in society is like looked at as her mom. um that's how I see it. And then I think on the flip of like me adopting, if my future partner has children, me adopting her kids, I'm honestly, there's a little resistance to it. And I think it's just because of my upbringing. And, I'm almost like, my story is already complicated enough. Do I need to actually like meet somebody who already has kids?
Well, this is a good, because you're bringing up. I have a colleague that I really admire, and there's a progression, right? There's a progression that I guess we as a society, but also there's some logical, it makes sense. Like you meet someone and you progress to that relationship, and then maybe you move in together or you get engaged and then you get married and then you have kids. And there's like, it's not the way, but it's a way that we've all, as society, kind of said that's the progression. Um, so I guess that's something that I've been exploring too, is like, what if you don't do that progression? And what if the order is a little mixed up, And like, if someone has kids already, or maybe you do the kid journey and it's before a wedding, or it's, you move in right away. And I guess what I'm saying is you do things that are not the classical way. And it's a little messier, and it's a little bit like, oh, this doesn't feel right. But who's to say what's right and what's not right?
I mean, I think it would feel right to the right person. Like it would actually be like, no, this makes
Mm.
so much sense to me. In terms of Leia and I, like, if I'm dating somebody and she's like, "Oh my God, I like love that you have a kid. I would love, if things progress, like Leia to be mine." Like that, it would just feel more natural and feel right. I think personally though, I just have some like inherent resistance to it. I don't know. I gotta maybe work on that a little
Let's
bit.
explore. Let's dig through the
Let's
thicket hair around
dig.
Robbie's heart.
I just know that it was like not a tumultuous upbringing. It was just a lot. And I was like 10 years old, it was a lot. There was a lot of love in the family, so much support. My stepdad like supported me every which way possible. Um, Sent me to school, sent me to college, like loves me. I mean, truly
Mm-hmm.
loves me. And I think it's my own relationship with this idea of like, I am other. Like I'm the only one that's like not from his bait seam,
Mm.
which means ball sack. Uh, but like I always joke, like I'm the milkman's son, you know, like, and but I've honestly never felt like he's never really treated me other than all the other
Mm.
kids. It's only kind of in my head.
Well,
I mean, you talk about
it's
your
big.
therapist all the time. Like, is this something that has been brought up in the past? Like, have you addressed this like outsider thought process?
100%. I mean, in terms of my like negative self-talk, which is a daily struggle, like it's totally my dad. Like
Does
it's
your
his voice.
therapist
Your
listen to you,
biological
or
dad,
No, my stepdad. But he like I say stepdad, but he's my dad. Like
right?
he adopted me.
Wait, so
He's
the
raised
negative
me.
self talk is in the voice of your dad? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
for sure.
Huh.
Like it definitely is.
Hmm.
And I can like turn it up and turn it down and I can kind of make it comical sometimes, but if I'm in a loop of it, it is
Yeah.
brutal.
Well, man,
And
it's so
I
big. Yeah.
know I know plenty of like biological dad son relationships who their negative self-talk is from their dad, like from their biological father, you know?
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
unique experience that you're having.
Right. What is your guys' negative self-talk? Who does it come from?
I mean, same thing. Pops, I love you so much. I know you're listening, but yeah, I mean, I think we grew up with demand, like high expectations from intense father figures, and so it served a purpose where we're freaking aspirational, hardworking, high achieving dudes like we are. And also I've had to learn what is the threshold of, is this my own voice that is now in my head? Is it motivating and inspiring me and holding me to a high discipline standard, or is it beating me up and just being hard on me?
Mm-hmm. Jay, do you have that?
Mm. I've never like thought of it this way. Like, I guess if anything, like the intensity comes more from my mom than from my dad. Um, and
Eileen.
yeah, I know, and she's listening to this right now too. So, yeah, there's just this like intensity that was passed down from her parents as well, and I know like experiencing from my grandma and my papa of like how being depression babies and how intense
Mm-hmm.
that can be as well. And my mom just kind of being the first of her family go to college and really wanting the most out of
Mm,
um certain experiences, or like my I always say like I have like my dad's brain and my brother has my mom's brain, but I look more like my mom and my brother looks more like my dad. So, uh, yeah, I just don't work in the same way. So it's always been this very like intense uh, relationship that has evolved over time.
Hmm. I've also experienced, I've dated some women that have stepdads,
Mm-hmm.
and oddly, I'm actually gravitated towards a woman who comes from a blended family in a weird way because I feel like she has like a fundamental understanding of blending and like loving a stepchild or like loving a step parent. And the two that come to mind, like they have such a beautiful relationship with their stepdad. Like their stepdad like is their dad almost. And then their biological father, similar to my scenario, is like not in the picture or like vaguely in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives me a lot of hope when I meet women who are just like, I fucking love my stepdad. Like my stepdad raised me, like, like they love me. So it kind of comes back to this, dating somebody who already has kids. It's like, yeah, the step parent role is a superhero role. It really is, because it takes even more selfless love
Mhm.
than I think that what inherently comes in a package deal when you have a biological child. I think it takes even more work.
Yeah, I
Have
remember.
you,
You go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go. I'm
Oh,
going to take us in a different direction.
well, I guess I'll just close with this. I remember another couple. It was like a few years ago, and they're like such a phenomenal couple and they do very well. They've got their ish together, and they had just started on the journey, and we were kind of at like a dinner party, and they had mentioned one of them had brought up the notion of adoption, and you could tell it was a conversation that they didn't see eye to eye on of like if they were going to adopt, because
Mm,
it's a big, and that's where I think it's like it takes it from the ethereal to the very real. Is like, okay, are you opening up your, because one of them wanted to do it and one of them did not want to, and and there's no right or wrong, you know. I don't think anyone's a nor are any of us like a bad person if you're like, I don't know if I want to adopt, you know,
right.
or a stepchild. It's um yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, two things
thing.
come to mind. And Jay, I know you're going to take us in a different direction,
No.
but I've had early on in my dating, after Noel died, like I had a couple women be like, "You're so cute and so handsome, but like I really don't want to be a stepmom," or like I don't see that. And I was like, first of all, we have never even met, but appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
But like I just remember
It was that early in the
it was
like
so early. It was like it
Would you
was like
rather though 2 dates in?
I would so much rather it at the beginning, like
Yeah.
so much, and I literally took nothing personally. I was just like, oh my God, like totally get it. Like, wish you the best of luck. So that is a truth. Like, there are people that are just like, this is not for me. And that I totally respect. The one thing I do want to bring up, and this is a sensitive subject for, friends of mine who are trying and, are still having trouble getting
Mm,
pregnant, is like, there is a reality that not everybody can get pregnant. Like, not
mm,
everybody has that gift, that blessing. And it can be
right.
extremely stressful and daunting on the relationship. And, um, when Noelle had her first surgery, she lost one of her ovaries and she was very adamant, being like, "Oh, I have the other ovary so I could still get pregnant." I was like, "Yeah, babe, we totally want to have more kids." Then when the cancer came back and we had the second surgery, they had to do a full hysterectomy and remove everything. And it was like she approached me and she was like, I would like to adopt someday. And I remember watching a video of this guy Zach. I forget his last name, but he's a huge Instagram content creator. He does all those like magic cut
Yeah.
super.
Yeah.
Zach
Yeah.
King.
Zach King, yes, love his content, and he's been doing it forever. He adopted, and he posted a video about adopting, and I just remember watching it and being like, "Oh my God, like I would do this," you know. But granted, I would do it when I had like when it was Noel and I was like, we were going to do this together.
Right.
Um, but I've met some women now that are like, they're in their early 30s and they're like, I haven't found my person yet, and they're like, I might adopt, or like I might just have
Yeah. Yeah.
what's the term where they
Yeah.
just like get,
Hmm.
yeah,
Freeze their
Um,
eggs.
not freeze their eggs.
I don't know the correct, but impregnated through,
In vitro,
yeah,
is that it?
IVF.
I think so.
Yeah, in vitro. Listen to us,
Basically, I know, like, not with a partner, but you are pregnant, but it's more of like the procedure of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
like they get pregnant without a partner, and
Well,
then they have the child and they raise it.
I
Which is a
think that
beautiful thing and a brave thing. Yeah. Go ahead, Jordan.
no, that's a thing that I think social media like almost destigmatizes, I think, if that's the right word, or just there's so much on social media of like, hey, we got pregnant. 6 months later, it's like we're having a baby shower and like the sex reveal and then the gender reveal, sorry. And then it's like, and then the baby comes out and it's 10 fingers and 10 toes. And it's like, that is not
Mm,
everyone's experience. Like there's a lot of situations, and I think we're a little, like maybe oversaturated that's just like the flow of things, especially with like government trying to control certain areas of it, of like things can happen and miscarriages and all this kind of stuff that take place, or the struggle, or stillbirths, or like, and there's probably so many other things that I'm like unaware of, or how I was educated on the fact of like, what's it called when it's in the fallopian tube and not on the uterus?
Ectopic pregnancy.
That, yes. So like I was educated recently on that of being like, okay, there's so many things that come into play.
Google that.
And so, yeah, like my cousin was having a really hard time getting pregnant for a while, and then they adopted, and then after that they had 2 kids on their own. There's a lot of stories like that too, where like people have a lot of struggle with having that first one, and then they adopt, and then there's some sort of like stress relief or some sort of like chemical that's released that then they have 2 on their own, or however many on their own after that.
And life's funky, you know. I mean, I'm 9 years younger than my oldest brother. I wasn't planned, you know. I mean, it's
We're glad you're here.
thank you guys. I'm psyched to be here too.
I'm glad you're here
it.
too.
No,
Thank
no,
you
no.
guys.
Like not like yeah.
No,
Just
I
a
know.
podcast.
In
No,
life,
like
I
alive.
I thank my parents for that, and I don't, you know. I mean, it's gosh, that's another thing we can talk about at some point. But yeah.
And Rob, do you have the gift?
Yeah. I do.
Do,
You want me to show it to you guys?
well, I was going to show it too. And Alex, do you?
Yeah.
I don't have it with me, but that's awesome.
Oh, so you know what it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alex sent us this text a couple weeks ago and was like, "Hey, what's your address? My dad wants to send you guys something." And
All right.
and it was one of those like, I've met Frank before, and so and within like 4 days, I get this package in the mail. What box did yours come in?
Oh, great question. So I talked to Weber through this while I was opening it. He wrapped it in a Trader Joe's brown paper
100%.
bag.
No,
How did you
that's
wrap yours?
not what mine came in. I need to show you what mine. And while I go get it, it's right here. But can you explain to the audience for the visual, like what it is?
And I want to give a little
yeah.
background of my father has a big heart, and Pops, you're a quirky guy. We all are, you know. And my dad has done well. He's worked very hard and done well. I will tell you this much: my dad buying wrapping paper, never. I'm telling you that you're either gonna get an envelope from like some random mailer that we use, and that's where the note's getting written on.
It was
Trader
folded
Joe's bag.
so nicely. Like the folding on the Trader Joe's packaging, it was unbelievable.
He's a doc. He's technical. Yeah.
Like it was folded so nicely.
Oh.
And then when I opened it, so just for our audience listening, so when we first launched the podcast almost a year ago, 9 months ago, we got some fan art done. And it's literally a photo. It's from Alex, a photo of Alex where he was at a wedding and he went stag and he's like holding up his arm, pretending to be with his date.
Yeah.
And then he's holding up some flowers as well. And there's some tears coming down his eyes. And then it just says "Still Single" with Alex Weber, Jordan Kahana, Rob Moore. And he it's like framed. It's like
It's like made out of glass. It's really nice. It needs some protection.
Frank, you did a great job.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm very grateful for it. And so I didn't know what to expect. I met Frank like twice.
He loves you.
I'm a big fan. No, let's not. I'm not trying to shorten the 2 time but I have met him and it's been great experiences. Really wonderful man. And so it came in an Everyman's Bible box. And so I was like, knowing that faith is important, I was like, cool. Like, I appreciate like bringing faith and spirituality in. I look forward to like reading this and and whatever it is.
It's just so good, man.
And then I open it up and I was like, oh, this is wonderful. This is so thoughtful. Like, thank you. Like,
my dad sent you a Bible.
I thought he was wanting to, just get.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I've been listening to the pod, listening to some of these stories. Like, maybe you should seek a little religious guidance.
That's amazing.
A little background. Months ago, faith has become increasingly more in my life strong. And my dad and I were like, okay, maybe we'll each read the Bible together. It's like a bonding thing. And Pops, we got to pick that back up. We've dropped the ball. But I guarantee you, my dad was like, I need a box. There's a box. This is going to Jordan. What's so great is that you're Jewish too.
For
so
sure.
it's just so great that That's the box. I can't imagine that roller coaster for you.
It's just like
I
great.
just
Like I don't
I
really own one, so this is wonderful and this is really nice to have. And I appreciate
Oh
like,
gosh,
the
wait,
faith.
is there's no Bible actually in there, is there?
No.
Oh,
No.
it's
it's
just the
just the
box.
box.
It was just
Oh
the
man.
That is
box.
so freaking funny.
I again, Frank, thank you so much. I Instagram messaged him. I should actually call him and text him and just I would love to just hear what Frank's up to. And
I
just
mean,
say,
you
It'd
know,
be
I
great.
know that
You'd
would
love it.
that'd make his day, week, month. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, tying it back to like adopted, parents and I'm trying to think if my dad has ever given me a sentimental gift in my entire life.
Hmm.
And I don't think he has.
Have you ever given him one?
I tried early on. I remember being like 10 or 11. I got him like a box set of DVDs to like an A&E show, like How It's Made or something, because he used to watch those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I got him a wallet once. And I just remember him being like, you know, thank you. And
Yeah.
and then like the DVD set never got opened.
Yeah,
And
Israeli
then the
men of
wallet,
that time
he never
is
used the wallet. He uses a rubber band.
yeah. That gift giving and receiving is not high on their love languages.
Yeah.
I
No.
definitely have experiences like that with my dad, who's also
It's just not in
Israeli.
their culture.
Like,
So me, I took it so personally and I was just like, my dad doesn't get me.
mhm,
And just the reality is, and now I know because I've gotten older and, done therapy. And it's just like, no, this is just like who he is. And it's nothing personal. And I will say that he is such a advocate and celebrates my wins in terms of like family and like Leia. And he was such a champion of Noelle and I getting married. And like,
Mhm.
those were staples. Like family was very much, you're doing great, Robbie. I'm so proud of you.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different, I just want to highlight this too, where like thoughtful things, yes. But my dad never really wanted any hard good gifts. And I think it was mainly from a place of like, don't need it, And I
Yeah.
think
mhm.
similar and Jordan, I haven't really met your dad, but Rob, I've met yours, and just from knowing, I think our dads, I'm generalizing for all of us, but like, they worked very hard and it was very providing,
Mhm.
and I think like that was an expression of love. And so I don't want to like I don't want to miss that of, your dad's job waking up at 4 a.m. to
Oh
go
yeah. I
work,
mean,
and it's
he had a dad who literally just like abandoned the family. Like his dad was not in the picture at all. And he was raised with four brothers and sisters and a single mom. So it's like, I mean, I don't know, Jordan, what your dad's dad was like, or Alex, what
Mhm.
Frank's dad was like.
Well, I also want to say, like, I think one thing I inferred from it was just like, my dad and my mom, they all worked hard, and I know your parents too, and I think they are more money conscious, and I want to bring that back into my life. I'm generalizing, but I think we kind of live in a society of like $7 lattes and $14 smoothies and $19 drinks, and it's like, whatever, live your life.
$2,700 laser hair removal package.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm now kind of coming back to a place of like, yeah, like live your life. Like I got a $5 coffee this morning. Like I'm not gonna decrease my quality of life, but also, do I need this? Or like we work hard, and is there a better use and place of the money being a little less frivolous, I guess? Because my family was definitely, and they did well and worked hard, but very conscious of what are we putting money towards. And I think
Mhm.
me and our generation is a little more like free flowing. So I think that's a lesson I'm trying to learn more of.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I definitely, sorry, Jago.
no. I was agreeing with that. Like it's interesting because I think it going back to the fact that my mom was raised by like depression parents, like where it is you don't leave anything on your plate. And
Yeah,
now my
yeah,
niece like comes and goes and is like, hey, can you make this? And she eats like a single noodle and then runs and then
Yeah.
like 20 minutes later is like, hey, can I have this? And it's like we just made you noodles and you want something like,
yeah,
and she's
yeah.
getting that. And, and that's not to say that, I'm not doing it's just generational and how you're raised and all that kind of stuff. And I think like, yeah, for my dad, he loves like, Starbucks and things like that, but he'll go maybe once a month and get it, like, or,
Wow.
or every other week and do like, it's not as where, but I think at the same time too, it's like kind of amazing. You see those stories of like, hey, I live in New York and I go and I get a coffee from the shop every single day and I eat out for every single meal. And it's like actually living paycheck to paycheck for some people because they
Right.
don't have that understanding around. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Well,
generalizing
this
too.
is good, but and Rob, I don't want to jump on. I think you were going to say something, but coming from the realm of addict that I've been in my life, I've often now started to ask myself, am I doing this to make me feel better? And is
Mm.
this actually going to accomplish the goal? Like, am I getting all of these snacks at the grocery store?
That's with each step of your life, just in general. You were asking like,
No,
is this
now I would say over these last years
right?
of like when I started to reflect of like, why am I going for this drink? I've now reflected on like, why am I getting this energy drink? Do I really want
Mm.
energy or do I just want to feel different? Like, why am I getting
Mm.
all of these snacks at the grocery store? Am I hungry or is this entertainment or escape? And it's not bad, but I
Mhm.
think just being aware because I definitely, if I'm having a rough day, I'll notice I'll like go and I'll get that $27 dollars. I'll somehow spend at 7-Eleven or something stupid. And it's like,
Mhm.
what am I really doing here?
Well, it's all about filling your cup, right? Like you need to have a full cup. And I think what I'm learning, especially in sobriety, is like there and in single life, is that you have to learn these tools of filling your cup on your own. Like you have to fill the cup from within almost, which is a challenge, and it'll be a lifelong challenge. And but I've definitely noticed too of just like I can get really squirrely and in my head and be like, oh, I need to reach for this and check Instagram and check TikTok and download another dating app or like I need a coffee, otherwise I'm gonna fucking lose it. And it's like challenging yourself or finding tools to just calm the mind
Mm.
and fill from within is it's the goal, I think. I think it's a
Tequila's good.
challenge.
Have you tried tequila?
Yeah, tequila and Guinness.
Oof. I
Oh
think that
man.
is a great like pause to ask yourself why you're doing that, because I definitely think in the past too, if I know that I've just like felt off or a funk and it's like I'm gonna go to the mall and I just want to go like I'm gonna buy a new pair of shoes or I'm gonna see if
Yeah,
there's something
yeah.
like a new, just like I'm gonna go spend something, and do that. Because I think a lot of times too, like I'm a bit like frivolous and or just like restricting on that kind of stuff, and it's like let me just have this like outbreak on that. And I do think it is interesting to think of like, yeah, those impulse purchases just to be like,
Yeah.
cool, I can do this, I did, or to feel different legitimately. That's such a
Mhm.
great question. Like, what is really clamping you down to, can you just take a glass of water, step outside, like,
Yeah,
circling
yeah,
it all back to
yeah,
that. Like, do you just need to like be in the park and have some sun and,
yeah,
like change your surroundings a little bit?
yeah, yeah.
I
This
hope
is
my shoulders
great.
aren't like super itchy this weekend with all the laser hair
Yeah.
removal.
I don't want to, because I hear what Jordan's saying. I don't want to. We do need to prepare and have topics. I also want to say this has been really enjoyable, this conversation.
Totally. No, and we've circled around this too. And I think it's tough too of just like, yeah, no, it always ends up being great.
It's just
And
a spicy intro. We had a spicy intro.
yeah, I think it's when it's like, hey, we don't know what we're doing. Jordan, you do this. Like
Right.
you steer the ship while we figure our shit, and we get to be like these two guys, like, and it's put
That's
on.
not fair. I agree. I agree with
So
you.
then I get like spicy on this of just being like, well, I
Yeah.
would have to talk about it for 2 minutes before you hit record, like, any which way. And I agree the improv route is the way to go. But yeah, we always seem to hit our stride and all that good stuff. And so, and actually the gift was not the side quest that I was going to take us on. So,
What
um,
was? Oh, I'm so curious.
well, we were, what were we talking about? Um, it was revolving around if you guys have ever dated someone who's been an only child.
Mm. Yes, I have.
And if you've experienced like those personality traits, or I remember I was like setting up a date, this was years ago, with someone, and they were very like kind of my way or the highway thing, like this early on. And I was like, it came out that they were an only child, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
See,
like,
I've actually experienced the total opposite, where it's like she's like, I'm down for whatever, or like I'm super down.
Mm.
So I think it is case by case, but um, yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the only children that I've dated.
Let's reframe that in
Uh,
case that sentence gets clipped.
yeah, that sounds weird.
well, we're
The
in charge of
women,
that.
Yeah,
yeah, the
sure.
women who are only children. I've never dated
It's
children,
better.
guys. Like,
It's better. You're on.
like,
You're
what are we doing?
doing
We can
better.
clip this whole thing out. We can just remove all of
What are
this.
we doing? Okay, so I just want to take us back. Let's do a little recap.
Okay.
We started off with just like a spice level 2 or 3. Then I was like, what is it like dating moms and dads? And then Alex threw in, would you like, let's talk about adoption.
Right.
Mhm.
And then we talked about dads. And then we talked about Frank's gift. We love you, Frank. And it's been a great, and my shoulders are so itchy, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it this weekend, but
Well, isn't it because it's like still a little prickly and it's grabbing onto the shirt and all that kind of stuff? Is that what's
yeah, but
going
like I
on?
have my appointment at 2 o'clock. They're gonna
Uh-huh.
shave me. They go, hey, can you make sure that you're shaved before you come in? I'm like, I tried, but like I can't reach all of it.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, all right, do your
Are
best.
you gonna get any lasered anywhere else? Like, you're gonna get carried away and do your chest, or no?
No, the chest is always gonna stay hairy.
Okay.
It's great.
The kitty cat on my chest. Meow. No, because I think the chest hair is actually sexy. I think shoulder and back hair is got to go.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
We
don't
get it.
deal with this.
Let's
You
get an
guys don't
Instagram
have
poll
it.
for Rob with this.
Weber, do you have any back hair?
I don't. I will say I noticed the other day like 7 hairs sprouted up, but I don't have
Ew.
I
Strong
don't.
back though. What's up with that?
Thank you guys.
How's fitness
I
journey going?
Oh, dude, I got a good tan. I mean, I got torched the other day. A
Mm-hmm.
tan helps so much.
Oh yeah.
You went tanning, or
I didn't go
It's just
tanning. I went out
out.
to Barton Springs and my mom had came for a visit. I went out to Barton Springs and I went shirts off and got scorched.
Uh-huh.
So I'm still riding that high. But you know what? I think this is important for folks. I'm gonna
You a
say this.
sunscreen guy though, right? We just
I
put a
need to
little
be I need to be more.
Mm.
I had a nice moment today where so abs is this journey where I my quick abs background. I gave up on it in college because I was always with the athlete, like whatever, a college lacrosse team, and like dudes had 6 packs, and like to the point that it was so embarrassing for me. I developed this complex where I wouldn't even take off my shirt. I was fit. I was a D1 athlete. I wouldn't even take off my shirt. And that's persistent. If I go to a pool party, I still have like anxiety about taking off my shirt to this day. So I understand it's a complex. But I like in like, talking with the guys in the men's group, I've wanted to have abs. I'm in Austin. I'm like, I've never been older than I've ever been. I've never been younger. I'm like, fuck, you can do this. So I've started doing abs more, but I still have that part of me that's not really committed. And then today I like looked in the mirror with a tan and I literally said to myself, and I had to like note it because I literally said, I was like, you can do this. I literally like I
Hell
saw
yeah.
like some abs and like enough to be like, come on, man, you can do this,
It's great.
That's it.
you can do it. You are doing it.
Yeah.
I had somebody slide into my DMs who was like, "Oh, I listen to Still Single. I'm friends with Alex." And I was like, "Oh, how do you know Alex?" She's like, "Well, we don't really know each other. We just went on a date once."
I love how they reach out to you
The
instead.
service is pretty
Like-
spotty here. I think we're getting disconnected. I feel like I need some more intel on
Do you
this
want
one.
to see who it was? Or you
let's
don't care?
let's dox
can
more
talk
people.
We can talk offline.
Well, I
God.
don't want to. I hope it was a good experience, and I clearly glad I could
She
provide
spoke
this
very
connection.
highly of you.
Glad I
And
could
she's like,
provide this connection.
I haven't listened to the podcast, but I've watched the little clips and it's great.
Okay, we'll take that. Please listen and subscribe.
Yeah. All right. So let's round off the episode with just a final thought because it's always good. We get in our feels. We feel good. We've talked about dad stuff. We've talked about adoption.
You want to kick it off?
I'll kick it off. I'll kick it off. Final thought. Okay. In terms of being adopted, I oftentimes don't really look at myself as somebody who was adopted because my mom is my mom, and then my stepdad adopted me. That said, I know that in God willing, in the future, I will meet somebody and fall in love, and she will be like down to clown and possibly adopt Leia. And I will say that I'm confident in that there will be a lot of love in that relationship,
Mm.
and it'll be a beautiful family unit and a beautiful tribe. And I'm excited for that whenever that happens.
Sneops. Jay, next or cleanup?
I'll let you round it out since you weren't here for the last one. And
Okay.
no, I just wanted you to have your time. Like it wasn't an insult. It was just
No,
like,
not
yeah,
at
like
all.
close us out in a strong
Not
way.
at all.
So, um, yeah, it's good to be here with you guys. I'm really grateful for this accountability and the consistency of it all. And yeah, I just think I saw somewhere just I'm a very big like momentum guy, and I think momentum can work in both ways. And just seeing the way the pendulum has been swinging for me this year, being very like down and out and very negative and lost, and feeling this momentum shifting happening as I change my mindset and put in the effort, and knowing that I know it's so cliche of like put your mind to it and you can, but like it really is true of just like the outlook that you have and the work that you put in and the effort. I think sometimes like work can be so convoluted as well, as just like put in some effort, like send that email, so like putting aside my ego a bit too, has been a thing that I consistently try to like acknowledge of how I'm trying to move forward. So yeah, I'm just really great to be here with you guys.
That was great. Sneops.
Sneops.
Thanks, guys.
I really enjoyed today's conversation. I like that we can go in many different directions on the Still Single podcast, and that this wasn't even about really dating or our particular journeys, but just about bigger and deeper journeys within us and questions that are important. I think I've explored too with some personal things that have gone in my life, of this idea of the path versus like more of a beautiful mess or complicated or steps out of order, and I don't have an answer to that, and it's probably going to end up being something in the middle. But I think in my own, where I've gone through some sadness journeys, the sauna of sadness, I feel like I'm coming to a place of, and listen, I know my mind, I know I'm still going to have sad moments and questioning and doubtful moments. I know that because that's the mind that I have and maybe you have, but I'm kind of enjoying now leaning into like life's a fun adventure and what might happen and possibilities, and enjoying the experiences and being present and trying to be less attached to expectations. And I'm trying. I'm not there, but I'm trying, and that's feeling better.
Sneops.
Sneops?
Sneops. I mean, I love the like beautiful mess idea, because at the end of the day, a path can be messy. Like, and there's so many things not in your control that make the path messy. So it's like, what is a path? It's a beautiful mess. Well, I appreciate you dudes. I could keep going, honestly.
Yeah.
And just keep on going.
Do a Rogan 4-hour episodes. Just
honestly, long form podcasting is the way to go. Just get them in for.
Well, let's do the live
hours.
show. Let's do the live show.
By the time we actually set it, it'll be like the 1 year show, which I think is totally valid. It's like we do our 1 year show, or maybe our 50th episode. That's in 8 weeks. We can get a live show set for them for the 50th episode.
Down.
Down.
All right.
Be great.
Jay.
I'm just trying to think like do you know what the year anniversary is?
It's something in July.
We could figure
think
that out for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's July. But again, to our audience, like, we love you. We see you. DM us any questions you have. And we have Natalie Bell joining us in a couple episodes. She's a content creator. And yeah.
We love y'all.
We love you guys.